that's that. Yeah, man. So what's up, everybody? Tonight I'm on welcome to Talking Motorbikes, by the way, and I'm on with a longtime friend of mine, Al Garcia, who I used to call the mayor. Like, even had Jason Medema make you up that like Simpsons graphic, like
Yep.
Mayor Quimby.
What up, Dustin?
How you doing, Al?
Dude, doing great, man. Doing
Yeah.
great.
So, dude, like, I was at the track on Saturday at Buttonwillow Circuit at my own track day, and I'm getting text messages from our buddy Steven Ludwig, and he's like, "Bro, you gotta check this shit out." And I pull up my phone, and like, it's you as you're announcing a live broadcast on fucking YouTube for the CVMA club races. Like, what?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, crazier things have happened, I guess. But yeah, no, I got roped in by Stephen Ludwig, our mutual
Dude,
friend, right?
that guy, yeah, Ludwig is like the guy that's like pushing us into the sport even more. Like, every
Yeah.
time I try to quit or even talk about quitting, like, Ludwig is like, "You can't quit. What's this? What is it? What are we gonna do?"
Yep. No, indeed. He was the one that brought me back to the track, right? I had been gone for quite a long time.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, he reached out to me a couple weeks ago and just, sort of said, "Hey, Al, I've got a proposition for you.
yeah,
I just need you to listen to it.
yeah,
Come on, just
yeah.
hear me out,
It's amazing.
and
It's amazing the shit that our friends could scumbag us into, right?
totally,
Yeah. So,
you freaking scumbag me into it.
let's talk about that a little bit
Yeah,
later. But like, I want to talk about kind of your history because I've known you for a while. You've been a customer of mine since long, like even before we had our Yamaha contract, right? Like,
yeah,
you were
no,
with
I
us
think,
back in the day, like,
yeah,
probably over 20 years, right?
yeah, no, over 20 years. I think my first track day with you was in 2002, 2003, sometime around there.
Yeah, you
I
showed up on my
remember.
dad's bike, right?
Yeah, yeah, I had a big ass BMW K1200 RS. I
Yeah.
literally rode from Orange County, rode to the racetrack with my saddlebags on, took my saddlebags off, put my gear on, and then went out to the track and did a day in C group, put
Dude,
my
I don't
bags back
remember.
on.
Were you that guy that rolled up to the track in an arrow stitch?
No, dude, I
No?
wasn't that bad. I wasn't that bad. I did have a really sweet two-piece suit though. So that was
Okay. Okay.
yeah, no,
You were not the arrow stitch guy.
no, I didn't go full arrow stitch on you ever, dude. No,
Right
that
on.
was all good. Yeah, but no, long time. So I think I did track days on that bike for on and off for a couple about till about 2005, I think
Yeah.
2005. Yeah, yeah.
What
And
did you have
so
next? Because I remember you coming out with your Triumph
yeah,
675 thing.
yeah. For a
Um,
while, I had a Triumph Daytona 600 that I bought used that I took out,
oh,
and
the
yeah,
TT 600?
yeah, I had one of those, right? And so I took that out. I always had to be different, right? BMWs, Triumphs, stupid
Dude,
stuff,
you
right?
know what, man? It's kind of cool to be weird. I remember racing against a guy that had a TTR or a TT 600 Triumph
Yeah,
thing.
TT 600 Triumph.
And what's funny is, like, that bike was way underrated, like, that was actually a good bike, just there wasn't a whole lot of support for that.
Aftermarket
Yeah.
support, getting
Yeah.
getting clip-ons, getting rear sets, body work. That was always a pain in the ass, and it was a challenge. And
Right.
so, yeah, so I gave up on that. And of course, had to go with another Triumph. Had to be different again. Went with
Oh, dude.
Triumph 675 when they just came out. I was one
Oh,
of the
dude.
first guys out there with one.
Did you have any of those mechanical problems that a lot of our customers had with those things?
No, I didn't. Mine was actually pretty robust, dude. It was really, really nice. I'd never had any issues with it. Was able to
Dude, I
get
remember,
out there
like,
and rip,
that was
and
like, what, 06, 07 kinda
yeah, it was oh
time
06.
frame?
Oh 06. Yep.
Yeah, so, like, I remember we had a string of events where every single person that had one of those canceled their track day because the clutch basket, like,
Yeah.
it was like a bomb went off. Like, the
Yeah, no,
clutch
and
basket on those things would
yeah,
just
dude.
explode.
I'm telling you, dude, mine was freaking solid. But then again, I had a yo-yo dyne slipper clutch that I threw into it, right?
Oh,
So
of
I
course,
was,
you had a yo-yo
dude,
time slipper clutch.
yeah, I was fancy boy, right? had to have it, right? So
Right.
yeah, no, so I never had any problems with it. It was really, really solid until I completely wadded it up sometime later in 2008 or so, you know?
Oh man. I mean, I just remember that era. Like when did you decide to make the jump from track day slut to or track day junkie to club racer goon?
Wow, dude. It was probably right around 2008. So I had been going to track days consistently. And then I got to the point where I was probably doing 20 plus track days a year easy, right? 20 to 30. I was gone all the time. I went full retard, got the, big trailer, got everything,
Yeah.
I was full in, right? And
Yeah.
so and yeah, so I um ultimately had a friend that was out there on a track day with us, and basically, he was pretty fast, right? So he was faster than I was, and at that time, I recently
Dude,
went
was
to see
that the
the Bud
mother's
race.
guy?
Yeah, Mother's guy, Shane Criffy.
Shane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shane.
I
Yeah,
remember
you remember
that.
him? Yeah. So the idea was we were going to go support him, right, and get
Yeah.
him out on the track day and support him in his racing. So we said, okay, we were like, dude, you should be racing. And we said, and ultimately Stephen and I, he talked to us and said, hey, I'll race if you guys race. And so Stephen and I were like, okay, well, we'll sign up. Right.
Right.
And it turned out, yes, Shane ended up stopping after, I think, a first big crash, not,
Yeah.
shortly after he started.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna put it this way, like Shane is what I would refer to as a normie. You know, like normal people, when you go
Yeah.
and smash your face in, and you hurt yourself, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, not doing that anymore. And then there's
Yeah.
people like us,
Yeah.
right? Like
Who
we
just
we we huck our
gluttons for
shit down the
punishment.
road,
Yeah.
throw thousands and thousands of
Yeah.
dollars in the trash, and we're like, fucking sign me up again.
Yep. Yep. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and so yeah, we just wad it up. We keep on going, break bones, keep on going, and that's just how it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. To some extent, like I'm turning 50 next month, right?
Dude, I didn't know that.
It's crazy. And like, dude, my right arm is like kind of useless.
Hmm.
Like like thanks a lot, go go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had a crash in 2000. I think it was 2008 that completely destroyed my wrist. So for several years, it really hurt. But ultimately, this one, the bones fused all together, and
Yeah.
and so now it doesn't move much, but
Yeah,
still
do
good
that
enough.
again.
Like a
Show us
quarter
what your
quarter.
throttle your
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're behind Al in a race and you see him working his elbow, that's because he don't have a wrist.
Yeah. But hey, it
You're
still
like,
worked with my job.
uh.
Yeah. I could still type, I could still read, I could still move things, and it's all good, right? So I figured,
Yeah,
I think at the time, my attitude was, look, I've got my brain, I've got my head. As long as I'm good, I'm okay, right? I
right.
could break bones. I could, it's this weird cycle that one goes through, and you start to think, I'm just going to risk it all. Just I got to get out there and try, right?
Right, right. So, you know what, man? Like, how many tracks did you race? You raced WSMC.
Hmm.
You raced a little bit of the Chuck Walla thing for like a
Yeah,
minute when we started that.
yeah, yeah. Actually, raced there for I think I raced at Chuckwalla for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you
So
race
I
anywhere else?
started.
Did you AFM, Wira,
I did
travel to
Wira.
MRA?
I did Wira. I did. I don't know if you remember the what's it called? The Golden State Cup. I think. Remember
Oh
that? It was like a.
yeah.
Remember
Yeah, the
that where it was like.
California Cup, whatever. Yeah, the
Yeah. Remember
Chandra
that? I did
Crawford
that.
Cup.
Yeah, I did that.
Is that what it was? We used to call it the
Yeah.
Crawford Cup, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. So I
Those
did
of you
that
at
for.
CMRA probably know who we're talking about,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that. I did it for yeah, I did that. I did Willow Springs for several years, really until they closed down.
Right.
And then did Chuckwalla for from 2011 to I think 2014.
Oh
In
wow.
fact, I was the first track day guy, first member of the public to ever crash on that racetrack. As a matter of fact,
Dude, you know what? It's really funny because I was listening to some of your broadcast, and it's really interesting to hear you call the corner Crash Corners like Stu does, but
yeah,
then your broadcast partner is calling it Garcia Hill, probably not even doing the math that you're the actual Garcia from Garcia Hill, right?
I think he just heard from somewhere. That's what the old school guys call it, right? And
Yeah.
just went with it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna call it Crash Corner. It's not for me to say, right?
Yeah.
Not for me to say. So,
Yeah, like, for those of you who don't know, like, when Chuckwalla first opened, we all came out. They had a demo day, and it was, like, the media and stuff like that, and we came out and rode around, and then that following weekend was the first, like, SoCal Track Days event there, and, Mr. Al Garcia right here, he was riding one of those Andy Palmer SV650s, and proceeded to try to launch himself into orbit in the turn 9 area. And he actually made it to the crash page on Road Racing World. So yeah, I mean, dude, like, you were famous for that shit, bro. Like,
I really
when
was.
you were in the magazine that summer, I went out with my dad to the MRA 4-hour race at
Yeah.
High Plains Raceway. And we were pitted next to some like amateur 600 guy,
Yeah.
and they had 2 magazines in their pit. They had a Super Street Bike magazine that had me in it, right? And then they had the Road Racing World with you in the crash page, and they're all like, "Oh, that guy's from California." So they would walk up to me like, "Hey, do you know this guy?" Like, I don't know why I remember that. I don't remember it
Yeah, dude.
yesterday, but I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was funny. Like, for a while after that, after we were racing either at Willow Springs or at Chuckwalla, and somebody new would come in, they're like, "Dude, are you the high side guy? Are you the high side
Yeah.
guy?" Yeah, that's me.
Yep.
That's
You're
day that will
probably
live in
wondering how
infamy.
you know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
meme or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
because it ended up, I ended up posting those photos afterwards on a website, and they just and it just went wild. So there was literally, if you Googled that, anatomy of a high side, you see page after page after page from all sorts of rando posts, right? There was like this violin forum, like, musical instrument violin forum. They're like, hey, check out these photos. Check it out. You can see his eyes bugging out. And so sure enough, I had a clear visor on that day, right? So you could
Oh
just see my
man,
eyes bulging as I'm still
that's
trying to look
so
into the
funny.
corner as I'm flying off. Yeah.
Oh
So
my
it's
god.
yeah, I guess if you can't be fast, you got to be famous some other way, right?
I tell you what, man. You know what? Like, I think I might have that picture. Like, I think, dude, I I
Really?
might have that picture, dude. Like, I seriously might have that picture. Let's
Yeah.
see. Let's see if I got it, dude. Let's see. Let's see here. I think, dude, I think I have that. I think I have that picture. Oh, I do. Yeah. Woo!
Yeah.
I look how
There was a
brand new Chuckwalla is. Look at the pavement
Yeah,
there.
no, it was literally perfect that day.
Oh my
And
god.
yeah, it was pretty wild. It was just absolutely perfect. And I had a brand new paint job. I had just put new bodywork on the bike, brand new and everything, right? And so, I'd been talking to Ludwig, and we were trying to figure out how we're going to take, 8, 9, 10. How are we going to manage that, right? And so Steven says, I think you want to go wide and then tight in at the top of the hill. And I'm like, I just didn't think that's going to work, man. But you know what? I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah.
And so sure enough, I went wide, and then it was brand new, so there was a bunch of sand right still on the track, and I just got in the sandy, dirty part and just rear
What we
went.
later referred to as like no man's land. Like, you
Yeah,
went out to
yeah,
no man's land and
yep.
grabbed a handful of boogie
I
juice.
did, I did, and so yeah, And it's funny, I managed to walk away, and it was only afterwards, a couple days where later, where I was walking around, and my leg was hurting, and I went to the doctor, and it's like, dude, you have a fracture. That's why. So
Oh,
I broken my leg on that one, but I didn't even think, but it was one of those very like hairline fractures where it's not completely displaced.
yeah.
So no cast or anything. So that was pretty much the damage, was just the body work and, my pride, and, 4
Okay,
to 6
so
weeks.
Al, just really quick, somebody just sent me a Google link. I think it's John Righty sent me this. A Google link. I guess he Googled anatomy of a high side.
Anatomy of a high side.
And I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah, no, it's a
So
whole
much.
series of,
It's so much.
yeah,
It's
and
got like the whole, it's got like frame by frame
yep,
of this high side, dude.
yeah. I know it's out there, it's out there in
Oh
the world for
man.
people to see. Yep, me pull. And I remember some of the comments, right? Because I'm not the lightest weight guy on earth, right? And
Yeah.
some of the comments, on some of the forums, I remember one guy said, "Man, it must have taken they must have killed 2 cows to fit a suit on that guy," right?
I
I was
mean,
like,
we used to make those
ouch.
kind of jokes, right? Like chili was like the target of that kind of
Yeah,
humor,
yeah.
back in the day.
And I was like,
Bro, it's at least,
hey, man,
and nowadays it's like, dude, it's at least 2 kangaroos, right? Maybe 3,
Yep,
right?
yep, yep. So
Oh,
yeah,
John
so
Righty's saying somebody made a Reddit video of it as well.
there's a GIF of
Oh,
me
Jesus
flipping
Christ.
over.
That's brutal, man.
Yeah, no, it was. I got to give props to Brian at Cali, who was with Cali Photography back in the day. He took some pretty good shots. He was right there in the corner when I went through, and I remember the first thing I after I got up, I saw Brian out there. I'm like, Brian, did you get it? It's like,
Oh
dude, I
man.
got it.
That like I was talking about earlier, right? Like that, like Shane, the mother's guy, was like a normal
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
And then like he has a big off and like he wants to quit. You have a pretty healthy off, you get launched to orbit, and your first concern is whether a photographer got the shot.
right.
Like there's like something loose there with us, right?
But that, we're not alone in that, right? I mean, we're not
No,
alone.
and
That's what's fun about
like,
it.
dude, you're over 20 years in, man. The rate of attrition usually it's like, from your first track day to you quitting is 3 years, right? Like
Yeah,
that's, first track day, then you go club race amateur, then you go race expert, get kicked in the face, and then you quit. Like that's like the standard rate at which normal people operate in this sport.
yeah,
But then there's like the special, arguably maybe on the spectrum, like morons like us that it's like
yeah,
20 plus years and like, yeah, dude, yeah, I burned my finger on the socket, but maybe it won't this time,
yeah,
So yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you got a legendary one there though, bro. Like that's
yeah,
a the crazy thing is looking at Chuck Walla from that era too. Like, look how brand new the curving looks. It's
yeah,
all perfect. The pavement is money, or it looked money at the time.
yeah,
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Like it didn't take very long for Chuck Walla's surface to develop a bunch of bumps, right? I can remember early on, like maybe the first, like out during the
hmm,
first season, people were starting to complain about bumps.
yeah,
And then eventually, when I was still out there before they did the first Timu repave, um, because Mickey Grana was Mickey Grana, right? So lowest bidder, his
yeah,
buddy out back did it, for cheap or whatever the first time. And, up until that point, dude, there was like you could stick your fist in some of those cracks out there. Like
yeah,
it was like
yeah. I
you
mean,
would roll through and like he would put tar in, and as you'd roll through it, it would pull the tar up and a more chunk out of the crack. So
yeah,
what's it
yeah.
like
I think
now? Do you want to talk about it
I
like now?
you
Because
know,
last time I
yeah,
saw it,
I
it
think,
looked like skateboard grip tape.
yeah. No, I gotta say, I don't think it looks the prettiest, to be honest with you. But what's
Right.
crazy is, I mean, you see the guys ripping out there, and it's still
Yeah.
giving up lap records on a monthly basis. So
Yeah.
obviously, it's still fast. I mean, and
Yeah.
you saw what look at the video and seeing what people are doing there. Like,
Oh yeah.
but a buddy of mine, Matt Hordshoe, was ripping 1 minute 50s on an R7, right? Which, if you think about what it was like in the early days, right, when people are just starting to figure out that track,
Yeah.
a 150 was really what pros,
Yeah.
semi pros on a 1,000 cc motorcycle
Yeah.
would be
Like the
like.
guy that won
Yeah,
the guy that won the first number one
yeah,
plate, right? Carl Lowry. Dude,
yeah,
I think his fastest time on his R1 back then was like a 49,
yep,
you know?
yep, and
And I got
yep,
Righty in the chat saying that 600s are doing 44s.
yeah. It's incredible, right? I mean, it's really, really incredible. So I don't necessarily think the track looks pristine anymore, right? I
No,
mean, it's got
no.
cracks but it's certainly fast, and I think
Yeah.
if you go through there, it's actually in quite good shape. It's
Yeah.
it's doing really, really well, all
Dude,
things
I hear
considered.
it's got, I mean, I rode on it a couple of years ago. Like I haven't raced in a while,
Yeah.
arm doesn't really work, whatever. But you know what? When I rode on it, I was like it was playing mind tricks with me because like I'm riding on the surface and parts of it looked wet. It had like this weird discoloration. So I was like
Hmm.
kind of it jacked with my confidence big time riding around there. But like the people that ride there every month, dude, they know where the
Hmm.
grip level is,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And it's just amazing to me how quick that place has really gone. I mean, Hornball's doing 50s last weekend on a
Yeah.
like what 90 horsepower R7.
Yep. Yep. Him and Gio were Gio, who was running the races. Both of them were doing literally exactly the same lap times, right? Down to the basically thousands of a difference in terms, but they were
What's the
making up their
record?
time in different ways.
Do you know the
I think
record in that twins class? Like
I don't know for sure. I think it's around 49. I think it's where it's at. I mean, it's
49s on a
high
sub
49s. I
100
think is where it's
horsepower
at.
bike.
Yeah,
That's
but
nuts.
yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, the track still it's fast. It's fast, and I think just not only the track, but tire technology over the last 15 years has really taken a step up, and
Yeah.
so it's just enabling people out there to just rip,
Oh,
especially
dude.
guys who have some track knowledge. It's
Yeah.
pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and it's when we were out there, we had several years where it was like one guy would kind of be the guy. So
Hmm.
like we went through the Dale Kiefer era where he basically just murdered everybody, right?
Yep.
Had that one season with Carl Lowry doing that. And then it was like Benny Solis. Like we had the Benny Solis era where he was just like for like 5 years he was the guy, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and Benny back then, I think he was like 46s, I think was the time. So would you say it's safe to say that the surface today is like 2 seconds faster than the surface from original?
Oh yeah, I'd say that pretty easy. I'd say that. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
and I know, back when I was racing out there, if you were doing 57s, 56s on
A twin.
on a twin, you were hauling the mail. Excuse me.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so just thinking about where it's gone, and when I think of the bikes we were racing, we were just racing SVs at the time,
Right.
but they still had 90, 95 horsepower, so they were doing a
Well,
built
yours
SV
did.
was. Yeah.
Yours did.
Yeah, well,
The
yeah,
hunk
fair
of
enough.
shit
my,
Andy
my,
had me
mine
ride
did.
was like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple
Yeah.
of those things that he had me ride that had like the weekend prior, they were in his backyard with grass growing through them.
Yeah.
Like I can remember
Yeah.
going through the bowl and the handlebars go whoop. I'm like, what? Have you done
Yeah.
any endurance races?
I haven't done any endurance races. I think what I did back in the day was solo racing over at Willow Springs, the 20
Yeah.
lappers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. Remember those? They would be usually Saturdays. After all the practice was done, they do the solo races
The
and get out
solo
there, do 20
GTU,
laps.
GTO.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know,
That was
when
good
I
times.
when I when I started that other club, CRA, I sold it a
Hmm.
few years ago. But when I started that other club, dude, I brought that GTU shit back. The
Yeah.
20 lap GTO
No.
GTU shit, like we brought that back.
Yeah. No.
And
And
I
you know,
think that racing those longer lap races helps you, you know,
no,
because getting
it
that green flag race lap time.
it really does. It helps you sort of think about how you're going to hit your mark over and over and over. Hit
Right.
your marks, right? And
Yeah.
so it gets you sort of prepped in the zone, getting that mindset into just making sure you're hitting your
Right.
marks every single time.
Yeah.
And it sort of tests you in terms of, how fit are you really? And of course I wasn't that fit, but
Fucking
um but it was I really enjoyed that. I think more people should do that, and I think it makes sense. Thinking about even the shootouts at Chuckwalla that they do, right? They do 10 lap races and 8 lap races longer than the
yeah.
six, and
Yeah.
seeing that, just pushing in that direction for, especially when they're paying out money for those. I think that's
Right.
that's a good deal. So
You know, when we first started racing WSMC, and I say we because you were a WSMC guy as well.
yep, I was.
Do you remember like the process of going from amateur to expert and how it was like, you know, amateur novice, so they called it,
Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
so, they had it based on CCs. So it was like 0 to 500, 501 to 650, 651
Yeah.
to open. And as a novice racer, you get your license on Saturday, and then you would wait around. You would do morning practice on Sunday, and then you would wait all day to get your one novice race in, and then you would
Yeah.
pack up and go home and do it again next
Yeah.
month, right?
Yep.
And, after 3 weekends, typically, we would all get kicked out of novice, go race against experts. So, literally, 3 green flag race starts under our belt, and we're on the grid with experts, right?
Yeah.
And now compare that to what we did at CVMA, which is still kind of going today,
Hmm.
in a much bigger scale than when we started it. Now it's like a guy could get his license on Friday, race 4 green flag starts before the first weekend is over.
Yep.
Sometimes 8, right? Like if
Yeah.
they're on a
If you're
600
really,
and they race the open races, they could do 8 races almost, right?
yep. Yep. You could race up,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think the way they do it today is a lot better for people to get that experience and get that
Yeah.
repeatable experience during the same weekend and learn, what mistakes they may have made in the day before, get a
Right.
chance to try something different just an hour later,
And it's
right?
a
I think.
very like, more importantly, it's like a very quick opportunity for payback,
Yep.
right? You
Yep.
know, that guy that you lost to in race
Yep.
1, in race 7 tomorrow, you got another
You're
shot at
you're
him,
going you're going after him. Yep.
Right.
No, no, indeed. I think it works out a lot better nowadays.
So
Yeah.
I've got Ludwig in the chat asking if you have an OnlyFans.
Nice.
Yeah. I think you do have an OnlyFans, and he's the only fan, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for
So,
sure.
what do you think about that though? Like, aside from that stuff that we just talked about,
Mhm.
what do you think about the, because I know that since we started going that direction in clubs, and a lot of clubs are doing that, all of a sudden, back in the day, like I said, dude, 3 races and you're out and you're
Yep.
thrown to the wolves. And you know what? I think there was some merit to that. I think it was like sink or swim, like, you know, you got to go get punched in the face for a little bit and learn.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like we get a lot of novices or amateurs or whatever fighting to stay in novice. And I
Yeah.
saw in your results, I saw in your results last weekend, you guys had a guy, at least one guy. That dude was a yellow plate when I was still out there 6 years ago. And I was like, bro, like, are you like a professional novice? Like,
Yeah.
how long can you keep your yellow plates for? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. No, and I think the way, my understanding is the way Chuckwalla does it now. I think once you hit a certain amount of points, you're
yeah,
gonna be moved out. And
yeah,
so I actually like the way it works now, right? Because Look, I'm not so sure it makes a lot of sense to throw people to the wolves after just a couple races, right? After 3 races. I mean, we did it, but I'm not sure that's the right way to do it, especially if you're not that fast. You might
Right.
be, a roadblock as the guys are coming to lap you at the end of, 5 or 6 laps, and
Right.
that's not safe for anybody. So I'm
Yeah.
actually more of a fan of people getting some experience before they get out. Now, on the other hand, if you've been doing it for a while and you're that professional novice, at some point, no,
Yeah.
you got to bump up, right?
And the
You're not.
reality is, like, I think, and being part of government in that era, so to speak, track race club management, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Um, One of the things that we discovered in that shit was that some riders felt that they had to be winning the amateur races in order to be promoted. And the reality is that's just not true at all. You
Yeah.
Because the reality is amateur racing, the purpose of amateur racing is to learn how to race.
Yeah.
And if
Basically,
you're
get you ready to be an
right,
expert.
and if you're
Yeah.
gritting up and you're racing and let's just say you're a middleweight amateur guy,
Hmm.
600 or whatever,
Yep.
um, and you're gridding up 4 races a weekend, and you're 3 seasons into 4 races a weekend, like, and you're not winning, but you're like, top 5-ish or whatever, bro, like, why would you stay a novice? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're putting a barrier for the guys that are coming up behind you that are learning how to
Yeah.
race. Like, you already know how to race, so you could
Yeah.
go around and, back in the day when I was there, like those guys, there's a few of them probably still around there, maybe still novice, I don't know, but they were doing like, I've seen some of those guys were doing like 53s, on a
Hmm.
600, and they would
Hmm.
fight and protest or whatever to continue staying a novice. And
Yeah.
I was kind of the dick about that. I would make them turn in sandbags and shit back then, right?
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, it's the same thing as trying to be the track day winner, right? Yeah. So what do you do? I was the fastest guy at your track day
Right,
and B group. Who gives a crap, right?
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's along those same lines. I mean, but I mean, I imagine people have their reasons why. It's just not on my, wouldn't have been my thing
Uh,
ever, really.
no, never.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you put up a hell of a championship run, right? Like, I remember, dude, you were spending massive money
Yeah.
in the Palmer machine,
I
right?
was. I was.
My dad, a bunch of dudes were like sucked
Hmm.
into that dude's machine. And I mean, dude, like, you'd have a mechanical failure, they'd have another engine for you to, another round in the chamber,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I had
You'd
an A
huck one
bike, a
down the
B
road,
bike,
yes,
plus
you'd
plus extra
roll out.
motors. I was ready to go. Yeah. I was all in,
Yeah,
completely all in.
yeah,
And I ultimately had an unfortunate crash where I broke my wrist,
yeah,
two rounds to go, and that's just how it goes, right?
yeah,
You
yeah.
you roll the dice, and it wasn't to be. But I was, at the end of the day, pretty proud of what I did. But yeah, I mean, and there was, at the end of the day, I look back on that time, pretty fondly. Even thinking about Andy Palmer, I think of
Right.
him fondly, in
Yeah,
terms of what we were doing then at that point in time,
right. Like, this was
because
all like, I get it. I'm right there with you.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it was like before we all saw the wizard behind the curtain,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
But
yeah,
I
I get it,
watched you
but
with the grit, like the grit to push through for that championship, and
yeah,
how far into it that you were,
yeah.
man. Like,
Dude, I was so far in. I was all in, right? All in, right? As my
yeah,
friends would say,
Al in.
there's all
Yeah.
in, there's all in, right?
Yeah.
I was out there, and A bike, B bike. I remember, actually pretty fondly. I remember I crap. I had a couple races in the day. I think there was 3 or 4 races going on. I went out and you know, crashed in I think it was in turn three. I crashed one time and then immediately jumped on my B bike and then I just broke it off everybody and just, totally demolished the group. And
Right.
it was just, but it was like, okay, okay, I crashed. Okay, this is motivation to get out there and just go harder, right? And
Right.
it's that, you get into this zone where you're just
Special
all you can
screw
think
loose
of.
you were talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
I know. And it's funny, I still remember going back to my orthopedic surgeon, who at one point I had him listed as my primary care physician, right?
Yeah.
Because I was always out there, and he's telling me it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks for my bones to heal, and I'm like, I don't have 4 to 6 weeks. I'm out there in 3.5 weeks. So you got to make this happen. I don't know what to tell you. You just need to make it happen. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, how come I'm not getting the MotoGP treatment here? How come I'm not getting plates in this? What's going on
Yeah.
with this? Right.
Yeah. You're
But
like, Kaiser's not getting it done. Right. Dude, how many of us, like, I've kind of experienced some of that too. Like, trying to make deals with the doctor.
yeah,
Right. And we're like, "Oh, look, bro, the championship's on the line.
yeah,
Can I race in 3 weeks? Bottom line, can I race in 3 weeks?" Right? Like, how many of us have cut the cast off? Right? Like, I mean, I can remember one where, like, you might remember this, like 2000, I think it was like 2006. I had a big crash at a track day with Robbie Dowie.
yeah,
I was chasing Robbie Dowie. I ended up catching a swooper. Didn't even see him until I was right there. It smashed into this dude, and I was seeing double, and all the way up until like the week of the next round, I was still seeing double. And I was calling the doctor like every day, like, bro, it's still, and he's like, yeah, I told you that yesterday, right? And then finally, like the week of the race, maybe like Tuesday, all of a sudden my vision cleared up, and I was like, okay, I can race now, right? And it's like, of course, we went and raced. I
yeah,
went and raced.
yeah,
I had my wife pretty much not stoked on it, right?
yeah,
But we're morons. Like,
yeah,
that's what we do, right?
yeah. No, it was funny. Last year I was talking to my wife, and I was telling her, look, I'm really off the pace. I need to up my pace. So I think, what I'm going to do is, I think, there's this race happening, and, it's, a bunch of old guys with little sprains. I think maybe I should sign up for that. And she's like, looks at me, we're driving, and I'm driving. She's like, you sign up for that race, you crash, I'm not coming to pick you up. You're done. That's it. Like, you're staying at the, I'm not there for you any longer. So at that point I realized, okay, yeah, okay, at least I'm done racing for this year.
Yeah, yeah. For right now, right?
Yeah, for right now.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So yeah, yeah, no,
Do you have do you have like a do you have like a favorite bike that you raced over the years?
oh man, yeah, I do actually. It was my Gen 1 SV that I had with a custom swing. I had a custom swing arm in it, and magnesium wheels, and I had, it was basically
Flat
full on,
slides.
yeah, flat
You had the
slide
flat
carbs.
slides?
It was, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And basically, no loss, or basically,
Total loss.
I don't know, bunch of stupid, yeah, total loss system, had, freaking Gorilla rods and Janie pistons, you know,
You had like a $30,000 SV. Yeah, you
it's
had a
freaking ridiculous,
$30,000,
dude.
$3,000 bike.
It was freaking ridiculous.
Dude.
It was pretty badass though. It was pretty
Yeah.
badass. It was one mean SV. And yeah, so that was probably my favorite.
There was a bunch of
But
those weird SVs of that era, dude, like some like gnarly ones. I mean, when I was club racing at Chuck Wallet in the beginning, my dad retired from racing in 2012, I think. He had that Hollywood guy in Colorado, got into him or whatever, and he broke his arm. And his wife at the time was like, "Look, Charlie, you can either stay married or you could keep racing, but you can't do both." Right.
yeah,
And so I ended up with that bike, and that bike later became what was known as the meth bike.
I
So,
remember the meth bike. Yep.
dude, billet crank, TL
Yep.
1000 throttle bodies, the thing, and then it ran on methanol. So it was
Yep.
like,
The meth bike.
fumes coming out the tank, dude. You would take a breather, and it was like, And then your eyes would, the hairs in your nose would curl up and your eyes would be like, what just happened to me right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that bike was fun, that bike was
Yeah.
fun. And then, right before the start of the season, I broke my arm on GMR. I think you might have been there for that too. The
Yeah, I was
bicycle.
there for that. We went bike riding, and then you got your first ride in a fire truck that day, if
That's
you
right.
remember.
Yeah. Like I
I
instantly
actually
turned
have
into like,
photos. I actually have photos of that of you on.
oh, shut up.
I do, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like I
Yeah.
remember I think I was going downhill with Calvin Kwong
Yeah.
and we come around a corner and rolled over gravel and you know, there you go.
Yeah. You lost.
Puncture
Yeah. You.
flat, the
Yeah.
skinny tires with no
Yep.
when there's no tire, if you're just rim, it
Yep.
doesn't turn too well.
No, no, and I think the area where you were at, I think you were, easily doing 35, 40 miles an hour where
No, I
you
was doing like
went down.
30, 35, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it was
whatever, dude.
yeah, it
You're
was
when you're
fast, dude.
doing you fall down on the pavement at 30 mile an hour in your underwear, basically. Like,
Yeah. It's not gonna end well.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
never mind Ludwig trying to do home remedy surgery on me, right? Like I'm like, yeah, dude, something's like my arm's not right, dude. I think it's out of
Yeah.
socket. It's like not, so like I'm standing in the doorway, Ludwig's yanking on my wrist to try to pop it back into place. And I was like, no, that's not it. So whatever, dude. I'll just drive myself to the hospital. And next thing you know, I'm getting x-rays and the humerus is broken in half, like at the top. And turns out my wrist was broken too, that Ludwig was
Wow.
yanking on. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Good
guess
times.
to this day, because the fire truck dropped me off at
Yeah.
Ludwig's family's
Yeah.
place in
Right down at the
Glendora.
bottom
Yeah.
of GMR. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
to this day, apparently, whenever they refer to me by a nickname, Bloody Butt.
Nice.
Right? So I don't know. That's fun. The bicycle thing was a big thing with us. Dude,
Yeah.
you built that bike, I think, right?
Yeah.
That was that white.
Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
Whose garage were we in when we were doing it?
I
I
don't
can't remember
remember.
whose garage, but I
Was it
remember coming over you bought that frame off eBay,
eBay?
I think. Yeah, I think, and you
Yep.
bought a basically a component kit and some wheels, and I came over and we were just put it all
Yeah.
together. Yeah, it was good
Yeah,
times.
like I like it was a weird thing, a weird time in my life. Like I had one bike already and I was like, you know what, man, if I get this lap time or whatever it was, whatever deal I made with myself,
Yeah,
I
you
was
know,
like, you
treat
know what,
yourself.
this will be yeah. So I bought a frame. I had a buddy give me a set of those FSA wing bars.
Hmm.
I scored some Cerium wheels from somebody, and
Yep.
then next thing you know, like I have this like pretty legit bike, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and all it had to be is put together, and that's where you came in.
Yeah, dude. In high school, I used to work at a bike shop. It's one of the things I did. So I just, it's
Yeah,
one of the things I love to do is just tinker with bicycles, put them back together, tear them apart.
yeah. I'm
It's good
more of
stuff.
I like riding them kind of guy. Like working on them,
Yeah,
not so much.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I hear you. I got
yeah,
to get out there and start pedaling a little more myself.
dude. Say when,
Yeah,
say when. Season's
yeah,
over for me, so it's like I should get back on this stupid thing, man. Like
yeah,
I kind of let my cycling kind of take a back seat to following this team around the country and the world, right?
yeah. Dude,
So
Jerez. You went to
Estoril,
Jerez, Estoril too, right?
yeah, yeah. So
Nice.
I got in the comments, Bearded Jixer saying, is with regards to Ludwig's family's nickname for me, was that from my time in prison? No, never been to prison. That's what they called me because to this day, dude, like on that particular cheek, I have a perfect scar that's like the shape of a heart.
Nice.
I was like, should I tattoo that? I heart
Yeah.
GMR, something.
Yeah. And it's hilarious because I completely remember you just being all torn up with your
Oh,
it was completely ripped
dude,
open
that
and
was my
yeah,
favorite Helen's kit too.
yeah,
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 dude.
yeah,
Like everybody has that favorite kit, right?
yeah,
You know, like I had a golf kit that Nate Loyal gave me. Like his says
yeah.
bike on it, and then, dude, right after we got this asshole dog, uh, that was the end of that kit.
Dude, speaking of Nate, though, it was so good to see. I ran into Nate a couple months ago at one of your track days. I think it was in July or August. I think we were
Yeah,
out there at the new track
the
at
circuit.
Buttonwillow.
Yeah,
Yeah, the circuit, and it was really nice to catch up to him. I catch up with him. I hadn't seen him in a few years, and that was really good.
dude, it's so weird. Nate's actually been to more track days this year than you have, right?
I know, I know, I know. I got to get out more. I got to get out more for sure.
Well, now you're you're the face of this broadcast thing, dude. Like,
Yeah, I don't know about the face. Maybe the second voice of the broadcasting, right? But it was a lot of fun. I got to tell you, it was put together pretty quickly. I got to shout out to the 951 Live guys who brought all the technology. They
yeah.
came out. There was 4 cameras set up all around CVMA and around the racetrack, I should say, and had great shots, great angles. The video feed was just amazing, I gotta say, and it was pretty legit, and so I got there on Friday night, and just got a chance to see the situation room was looking like, and so got
Where
a
are
chance.
you guys? What is this? Where is this situation room?
Yeah, it was set up in the members lounge. I don't know if you're too familiar with how
There's a
Chip Wallace
members
set up.
lounge.
Yeah, there's a members lounge right next to where the medical center is, right?
Medical
Um,
center.
yeah, yeah. So
Dude, it's been
they've got
like a minute and a half since I've been out
yeah.
there.
I guess it's been a while, right? But yeah, no,
Yeah.
they have a medical area
Is that little
where
building that was like kind of riders left when you're entering the paddock before you get to the bathrooms? Is that it?
it's where past the bathrooms. If you're going past the bathrooms, right around
So if you're going
turn.
into the paddock from up from the front office, it
Yeah.
like loops around or
Oh,
whatever.
okay, yeah. So
And
if you're
then
coming
it's
from
like
the
across
paddock,
the
then
street from the dog park.
yes. I mean,
Okay.
it's generally around there. Yeah. So it's going to
So
be
that's the
you're going to have it.
member lounge.
There's a member lounge there, and then there's the medical folks are right there as well. So there's a
Okay.
little bit of space in there. We just set up, and we had a very small glimpse of what was happening right around between turn 1 and the front straight. But pretty much what we were doing is watching on a couple video screens and trying to comment from that. And really, we probably were using something like a 15-inch screen, and the first date was really about a quarter of the 15-inch screen. So
So
I
you're
think
trying
the
to
second,
call the races
yeah,
live while looking at
yeah,
a 15-inch screen?
yeah, yeah. No, and the first day was it was a little smaller. Second day went a lot better, I think, because we
Okay.
could start to see things. We still couldn't see numbers or anything like that, but I think it was really cool, all things considering, that it was just trying it out to see, sort of test, see what works, see what doesn't, what do we need to improve for next month.
Do you
And so
have
I think
any
we're gonna
communication with the track announcer or anything like that? Or are you
none.
just straight up going off of what you see on the screen?
Literally going off what we see at the screen.
Oh, fuck. And like,
Yeah.
how do you know who's in the lead unless you can see their number? Like,
Well, yeah, and that was a little bit of a tricky one because we were using TrackHive,
oh, speed hype.
yeah, Speed Hive. I'm sorry, Speed Hive. And so we had a separate little like iPad down below where we could see Speed Hive, where
Okay.
people were at, but we really couldn't track that until after the first lap. So the first lap, we're just trying to,
Winging it.
winging it, seeing what we could see on camera. So
Right.
it was a little bit of a challenge, but it actually turned out to be okay. I think we got some pretty good feedback overall,
Oh,
given
dude,
given
like,
the
I mean, you were doing a great job. I didn't know that you couldn't actually see out on track. You only so like, was there like a direction? Like, how do you navigate that? And like, who decides what camera angle is being shown, and how does that
yeah.
work?
Well, there was one. There was a director of the show sitting next to us, essentially, who was switching between cameras so that it would go from one camera to another, and
Okay.
following the feed. And some of the cameras had pretty long angles, and they were manned. Others were stationary.
Oh, they had
So
manned like a dude would follow.
two,
Wow.
I think it was two or three of the cameras were manned. It was legit, seriously. I mean,
I
and it was
watched it,
real.
bro. Like I was texting you all weekend,
Yeah,
right?
it was amazing because I didn't really get a chance to see it because I was just looking at because the first day we had basically the primary camera with the other cameras on our screen, so we could see the other cameras, but that meant that we were commenting off basically, you know, about a 5 or 6 inch screen, so we couldn't
Yeah.
really read numbers, couldn't really
Yeah.
see a lot. But nonetheless, we were able to see what was going on with the speed hive, so we could start calling that way
Right.
and start seeing some of the action. And so I think the second day we were able to get the full 15-inch screen. The resolution wasn't as sharp as I would have loved, but nonetheless, we could see a lot more. So
Right.
I think in the second day you'll see like, oh, I could see where somebody's losing the front. I could see where
Yeah.
somebody was having a little hop, where you could start to see more detail. And I
Well, I
think
mean,
as
like,
we
I mean, I saw some of that stuff, but then I also
yeah,
saw, like, I don't know if you guys had, I don't know where they got the businesses to do commercial breaks on the shit, but like they were doing commercial breaks for like such and such plumbing or
yeah.
whatever the fuck,
A joke
and
of
then
Corona,
yeah, and then
AYS.
yeah, dude, and then later on, you were doing, like, replays and stuff. You're like, "Yeah, so
Yeah.
let me slow-mo this," and, like, in slow-mo, you could see Hayes tuck the front right there and
Yeah,
yeet.
no, it was so cool, wasn't it? And I think
Yeah,
it brought it, and I think it for the folks who are out in the paddock, I think it was really great because um, when you're out in the paddock, you can't see what's happening out in corner, turn
right.
10, turn 9, turn 8. You don't know anything about what's going on. And so people can get into it and see it pretty closely. The first time I got a chance to see what it looked like, in the video was after the end of the day, went into
Yeah,
the classroom and we watched it on the big screen. I'm like, holy cow, this looks
yeah,
amazing. It
yeah.
was really, really cool.
Dude, there was a
And
there was a shot that they did, and it was like, you could see them going ripping into the bowl, and then, like, the camera was set up to where they would catch they would disappear. And
mhm,
then when they would rip past at the top of the slide,
right.
you would see them again, and it was like, "Man,
It,
that's some
it was
work, dude."
It really was. I got a hand to the camera people out there. They did a
Yeah,
really, really phenomenal job.
yeah.
951 Live just knocked it out of the park. And I
Who
think,
are these
you know,
guys? Are they, like, club racers themselves or, like, what
no, actually not club racers. They're basically folks that are creating content and I guess had approached Ludwig or Ludwig and, approached them, but basically ended up striking a friendship and,
Yeah,
they decided to come out and do this. And I think it was awesome for them. I think they had done some Auto X racing stuff before
yeah,
and had done
okay,
other types of show, but I think this helps them create content for their channel. And I think for CVMA, it's a win-win because I think, now if you're coming over from Canada or from New York or from Mexico or from wherever you're coming from,
right,
you fly out, leave your stuff there over winter, right? And then just fly out for the races
right,
and you could be out there racing and friends back home can watch it all on TV, right? Or watch it all on YouTube, I should say,
right,
or wherever they're getting their favorite
yeah,
broadcast stuff from, whatever, right? But yeah, so it was cool, and I think it's only going to get better from there. I think
yeah. What did you
they
learn?
asked
Like,
us,
what do you like, how are you gonna adjust the mayor stuff for the next
yeah,
round?
I think second round, I'm just going to get a little bit looser and just try to feel like, just try to feel a little bit of what I think the racers might be
Bro,
feeling, and just commented
you're
on
sounding like Thad Wolf as your new racer school instructor. You just gotta feel it,
it.
right?
Yeah, no, and I think I think we saw changes from the first day to the second day. I think we got better the second day.
Right,
Again, literally zero experience, and zero experience for my partner as well. I mean, my
right.
partner, who is the actual announcer, that's Adrian. By the way, he works at Chaparral Motorsports. So anybody needs a bike
Oh,
or something, go out to Chaparral Motorsports. But
wow.
anyway,
Thanks for putting a
go
commercial on my show, jerk. Do you
Go
wanna
see
do you
Adrian.
wanna
But
do you wanna talk a little bit about, being an announcer itself? I mean, being on camera admittedly is not a natural thing, right?
no.
And like and I kind of feel you a little bit because I did this funny bit at Coda with Mike Hill where
Mhm.
and I'd threatened to do that shit for a while. And I
Yeah.
went up to him at Coda on during the fan walk thing, stole his microphone and just as a funny bit to like go and I ended up wasted opportunity actually because I ended up talking to that Durban guy who at Mid Ohio round jumped the start by a country mile, right? And dude,
Yeah.
I was so like stick the camera in the dude's face, it didn't even dawn on me to go there. I was like, busted. But then, I do my little bit, and then I realize, I got Mike tapping on my shoulder, like, hey, D, if you're gonna do this, you gotta keep talking. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what do you
Just keep it
mean? I can't
rolling.
just steal the mic, talk to one dude and be done?
Yeah.
Like, so you want to talk about that? They have that thing that
Yeah.
dead air. You want to talk about
Yeah,
dead
no,
air?
dead air. And we were trying to balance out, and it was a bit of a challenge, obviously, not being able to see, everything in full view. So it was a challenge trying to track what was going on in Speed
Yeah.
Hive versus what we were seeing on camera. But I think,
Yeah.
at first it was a little daunting because I was, actually, frankly, a little bit nervous, right? I
Yeah.
mean, actually, a lot nervous about
Yeah.
getting out there and trying to do this because it, clearly not my day job, right? Clearly not my day job. But, by the second day getting out there, I just realized, look, I'm out here, and my job is to try to let people in on what I'm seeing, and I'm not necessarily an expert, but hey, look, I've raced for a couple of years, I've watched a lot of stuff, and I get a sense of what I think people are feeling out there and what I'm seeing, and I just gotta just let it go
Yeah.
and try to convey some excitement about what we're seeing out there on track. And
Right.
I think it's just going to get better and better. I think, but yeah, it honestly it was a bit nerve wracking at first, just because the idea that so many people are going to be listening in and so many people are going to be watching. I didn't want to let our friends down. I didn't want to let 951 not 951 live down. I didn't want to let CVMA down. Right, there's
You
that
didn't want to
pressure.
let Ludwig down.
I definitely did not want to let Ludwig down.
Dude, that guy
Or
wears a lot of hats, man.
he certainly does. He's out there, helping to run the show at CVMA. He's helping, he runs the show at Race Pace. He's, got his
He's
day job. He's
Dude, he's
doing
got his
everything.
hands in my
Yeah,
shit too. Like
yeah,
with the I'm working on that project with those guys, the throttle sauce thing. And,
yeah,
I think we're, can I, nah, fuck it. It's my show.
yeah.
We're going to launch the new website, I think next week.
Nice. It's gonna be awesome, dude.
Yeah. So, you know, uh, I guess you could say modern motorbike media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's three motorbike dum-dums with three different perspectives and experiences, backgrounds, all that. And we're gonna go out and we're not only gonna do like some news stuff. There's gonna be like a press releases and that kind of thing place, but it's all video. Like nobody reads.
yeah,
So it's like video media,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So
And
yeah,
from what I've seen so far, just little snippets, it looks phenomenal, dude. I
thanks.
can't wait to have it, out there,
Yeah,
and
I
can't wait
mean,
to watch.
it's when you work with a good team, like it's kind
Yeah,
of coming together. Um, each of us have stuff that we bring to the table, but
yeah,
Ludwig's super into that though. Like
yeah,
he's helped out tremendously. You don't even want to talk about our like branding exercises or whatever that we've done. Like, you know how Ludwig is, right? Like
Yep.
he's such a like perfectionist or whatever.
Yep.
He was like really in our grills about, you know, what the thing's supposed to look like or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, so for my end, I just didn't want to let them down, and I wanted to just not let the racers down, because I think about, what it would mean
Yeah.
if I was racing out there, still was racing, and and somebody was filming us, right? And somebody was, catching our show. How excited that would have made me feel if my family who's at home can actually tune in
Right.
and watch,
Yeah.
right? And so yeah, I think, and what was cool was I got a chance to talk to a few people. I didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to talk to many,
Yeah.
but the folks that I got a chance to pull over in the paddock and talk to a couple of young kids, got a chance to talk to a few others, and was able to give them little shout outs and
Yeah.
talk about what's going on in their lives. And that, to me, that was the most fun part, really, just being able to
Like,
to
I don't
communicate about the people
remember.
we know.
It's like all of a sudden the video thing, the broadcast, the race thing is like
Mhm.
all the clubs in California are doing it to in some way, shape, or form, you know?
Yeah.
And I saw CVMA, CRA was doing it. Um,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh wow, you know, and they had a camera set up in a corner. Like it was like it was kind of disconnected from the announcing or anything like that. It was
Hmm.
just like it was like the zoo cam, you know, like where you could just, oh look, it's the koalas, right? And you know, that's cool. And you know,
Yeah.
AFM's got something, and
Yeah.
what's his name? Oxymoron, like the photographer guy,
Hmm.
Max Klein, says that right?
Yeah, I
So
think
Max,
so.
you know, the Oxymoron dude, like they've got this whole video thing, and it's pretty elaborate as well. And you know, and then now you guys are doing it
Yeah.
in the way that you guys are. And I don't want to comment on which one I think's better or whatever. Like I didn't really catch the AFM one. I saw some of
Yeah.
the CRA one. But what do you think about that being like becoming almost like the norm now for club racing? Like
I think it's
everybody's
great.
rolling the vids.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely great. I think it brings attention to what people are doing in the club racing,
Yeah.
scene, and gives people, to the
Yeah.
extent there's anybody trying to get a little sponsor here and there. I
Right.
think getting that, being able to see that, and like you heard what we were doing with the sponsors and the commercials,
Yeah.
and and so I think it can't help but promote what people are doing out there on the racetrack. So I'm super stoked to just have a little piece of a little part of it, and I'll
Yeah.
continue to do it as long as they have me, and I hope I get better at it. That's going to be my
Dude, you know
aim
what?
each and every time, just get a little better.
The more reps that you have doing it, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, by the end of the season, you'll probably be like Mike Hill by the end of the season. You'll be like, yeah,
Not quite,
there'll
man.
be like
No, no.
no dead air at all. You're gonna
Yeah.
riff like off the cuff for like 6 hours without even stopping.
Well, you
No,
know what yeah, what I can't wait to do actually is get to meet more of the, current racers out in the
yeah,
paddock, because as you know, I've been out of the racing scene,
right,
like at the racetrack, for a few years now, and there's a whole new crop of people that are out there.
dude. I
So
don't even
just
recognize the names, bro. Like for the
yeah,
most part, like
yeah. So
yeah,
so there's a learning curve in getting to chat with people, understanding what their stories are, so that I could then, give them little shout outs and talk about what they're doing. Because,
right.
every racer has a story, right? Everybody's there, for
Yeah, and
whatever
every
reason
racer
they're
wants to
there.
tell the story too.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah,
Every racer wants to tell their story,
yeah.
and have that story out there, because it's, I mean, at the end of the day, it's time invested, it's money invested, it's blood, sweat, and tears. So
Have you thought
it's it.
about, you know, one of the things you know, being with these guys all year, you know, the last couple years at
Mhm,
some of the races previous to that, you know, one of the things I notice about the guy that, you know, it's like a lot of people hate on this guy, but Greg White, you know, like Greg
mhm,
White goes out on the race weekend. I've seen him do it, dude. He goes like pit to pit and he talks to the crew chief and he talks to the
mhm,
team and he'll talk to, he'll make notes on like what's going on. And then perhaps when he crosses that crosses paths with that rider's doing on track stuff while he's on the broadcast, he'll bring it up. He'll be like, "Oh, and I talked to Stamboli earlier, and he said, are you gonna start doing that, bro? Like, you're gonna start talking to the
Yeah,
riders?"
no, I got to tell you, I sort of, that's exactly what I think of Greg White when he's out there doing that, right?
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I actually did. I had a conversation with Hornshoe,
yeah,
and talking about, okay, what's going on with your bike? And he's like, wow, I'm getting several laps out there, but after when the tires start wearing out, they start talking to me. And sure enough, I'm like, hey, I had a chance to talk to, Hornshoe, and you could see that he's losing a
you're
little
like, "Let
pace
me
here
go to
that
my
night.
notes."
Yeah, and literally just extemporaneously, hey, it's probably his tires. That's probably what's going on. And sure enough, that's what it was.
Yeah,
He was just starting to wear those tires out, and I
yeah.
can, but it was no, man. I don't hate on Greg White
Does
or
it give you
Jason.
perspective though, too? Like,
It really does. Yeah.
does it give you like um, I guess a renewed respect for that guy and what he does? Because
Oh yeah.
people give that guy such a hard time.
No,
You
no,
know?
entirely, and just exactly how hard it is
Yeah,
to talk through that. I mean, because we're talking, we were doing 5 hours straight,
yeah,
race after race after
yeah.
race after race,
Right.
and you gotta be out there, talking, but trying to balance that out so that people aren't wanting to, turn down the volume because you're just talking too damn much, right? and
Yeah,
and hopefully you're saying something that people can appreciate, right? Like, if you're seeing somebody
yeah.
yo-yo losing a little perspective, and you can say,
Right.
okay, well, these guys are making their time up in different corners of the racetrack, right?
Yeah.
And just talk about what you're seeing. So no, I have tons of respect. And it's funny because I actually was, in my mind today, I was thinking, God, I got to go back and watch some of the old, some of this season's Moto America, because I want to watch what Greg's been doing, because I want to
Dude,
I want to
you should,
emulate some
I
of
mean,
that.
truthfully, dude,
Seriously.
you should watch some of that. You should watch some of Mike on the mic stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, dude, I don't know how that guy does it. Greg too, man. Like, you know, say what you will about the guy, like he's definitely switched on, and
No, I
and
think
if
he's great, dude. I
like,
think he's good.
do you think like kind of like him, do you think that you're gonna like start remembering shit like forever? Like such and such date, this writer, right? Are
Yeah,
you gonna
no, and
be
I love.
Alopedia? You gonna be
Yeah,
Alopedia at Chuckwalla?
that's the kind of guy I am, right? Because absolutely, just again recalling when you crashed, recalling all these other things. It's kind of what gives color and perspective to what's happening,
Yeah,
right? To be able to talk about about what we're seeing. And
yeah.
so, yeah, my hope is to grow, and to
That's awesome.
hopefully, people will enjoy it down the line. I know it was our first time out, but I
Dude,
can't wait to do it again.
I
Seriously.
mean, for the first time, you guys absolutely murdered. It was so
Thanks,
good.
man.
I was texting you that the whole time. I was like, "Al,
Thank
you're
you.
doing such a good job, bro."
Thanks. Yeah, and I got to tell you, Adrian, who was right next to me, I mean, he was, again, he doesn't come from road racing, he comes from motor racing, but the feelings are still the same, right? The
Yeah,
feelings of you know trying to get to the turn before the corner before the other guy does, blocking,
right.
blocking somebody's line. All of that is still the same. So he was bringing that sort of perspective and
Okay.
passion to it, and I think, so I think we worked together pretty well. We got a chance to talk a few times over the phone during the week, just to get to know each other before we went
Yeah,
out there and did it. So, yeah, it was really cool.
that's awesome,
I
man.
can't wait to do it again, and just do it right by the people who are out there racing.
So
And I want.
when's the next round of CVMA?
Shoot, you have to ask me that, right?
Well, you're the
I
fucking
think
announcer guy, bro.
I
Like, I'm
know,
just some
right? I know.
shitbag on the internet, dude.
I know, right? I think it's the first weekend of December. I think it's like December 5th, 6th, something like that. I think
Okay.
is when it is. So I'll be out there. I'll be out there again, for race pace. Doing some track day time, getting some track day time in
Okay.
before Thanksgiving.
Oh, so
So,
do you have any goals, desires to get back on the grid at some point, or
oh man, I
maybe
thought
they'll
about
mic
it.
you up, bro?
Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? Going out
Live
there
951 live, dude. Mic up Al and send him out for a race.
It
No?
won't be much fun to have me mic'd up, dude. I'll be at the back end of that grid. I'll be lapped by the, it'll be exciting when I get lapped by
Yeah.
the guys up front. Yeah, that'll be real exciting.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
no. Yeah, that would be
Well,
cool.
Al, what a great chat, bro.
Hey man.
Thank you
Thanks for
guys
having
for
me
watching
on.
this thing, putting up with us, talking crap about old time races and, club races. Al, dude, you guys, Chuckwalla, I feel like it's part of, I feel like it's part of my legacy, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm one of the driving forces that helped start that club and get it
you
going. And,
did.
I
Yep.
can remember registering people for their license in the little timing and scoring shack. Like that was registration.
Yep.
And I remember our little bullshit one-page rule book that has evolved
I was just gonna say that. Remember the rule book?
the one-page rule book.
Don't be a jerk.
Yeah, our rule book was like step 1, don't be a cheater. Step 2. So
Yeah.
just watching that club evolve into what it's been now, it's like, wow, dude,
Yeah.
I mean, the D Mickey Grana-ing and the D Amy-ing of that club has really allowed that thing to just take off,
Yeah, I think it's really healthy right now. If you took a look at what the grids were like, even for being a Halloween weekend,
Yeah,
you had almost 200 racers out there. The paddock
right.
was completely full. Races that had close to 30 people in each wave. So
Yeah.
it was really legit. And
Did you remember back in the day when we started Chuck Wallet and it was like, okay, man, our goal is to make it like my goal back then, and I told this a million times, but it was like to make it so it would be like the heyday of WSMC, right? Where
yeah,
you could finish 14th doing 26s in a 600 race, right?
yeah,
So that would be like finishing 14th doing what, 50s or 48s now? Like,
yeah,
what is that?
yeah, yeah. No, it's really great to see. I mean, the grids are pretty healthy.
Yeah.
People are having fun out there, so I'm looking forward to
It's like a
just getting
winter
out there
national
again.
out there, isn't it?
I got to tell you, it really is. I mean, you have people flying in from all over the place.
Yeah.
You're racing with the pros. So if you're just an expert guy, you want
Yeah.
to see how you size up to Michael Gilbert or Corey Alexander or Jason or Josh Hayes, and okay, like
It's so crazy
seriously,
that Josh Hayes
that's
is out
great.
clubbing.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
the
it's
nat it's like
so
that how many times did that guy win the National Superbike Championship, right?
yeah, yeah, incredible. What was it? Was four? I think it was. Was it four? Did he win
It's
to
6? Did he win 6?
six? Damn. I mean, I lost count, but
5,
dude,
6, something like that?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was incredible. And I gotta tell you,
And by
I
the
just
way, really
always
quick, I see 951 Live is in the chat.
oh nice.
Welcome, you guys.
Yeah, welcome.
Nice job. Nice job,
Yeah,
right?
no, it was really phenomenal. And so shout out to 951 Live because they
Yeah.
just, they knocked it out of the park over the
That's awesome,
weekend.
man.
It was just be fun. It was fun to, be a part of it. So
That's so
but
cool.
yeah, no, it's great. You have pros coming out to race over the winter,
Yeah.
and as an expert or even as a novice just coming up to experts, being able to size yourself up against some of the pros, the
Right.
best. I mean, it's super cool. Like how I mean, if I think about it relative to other sports, you know, okay, when do you get to go out and play basketball with
Michael
Michael
Jordan,
Jordan,
right?
right? I mean, but that's what's happening right here.
Yeah.
That's how awesome it is, right?
That's so cool.
Um, yep. And so yeah, I think they've done some changes to the rules which make it pretty exciting. And
Yeah.
yeah, stoked to be out there again. It's nice, and I can't wait to get back out there again and start talking to people and get little stories, little tidbits. Like I say, yeah, I was talking with so and so last night. This is
Oh,
a
you
little,
should, dude. That's so
dude.
cool.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. Yeah.
Well, Al, I know you said you didn't think we had an hour of shit to talk about, but we're at like an hour and 15 now.
I know, man. I know. I know.
But you know what? Thanks for talking to me, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Thanks for having me.
we've been good friends for a long time, and I know
Totally.
you were kind of nervous to be on, and
Yeah.
you sounded like you don't have confidence to talk, but an hour and 15 says otherwise.
Yeah.
I wish you the best of luck with this, man. Like,
Thanks,
have
man.
fun with this
Thanks.
crap, and you know, I hope to
I'm
see you at the track, dude, riding.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll be out there.
So, you know, we're gonna wrap this thing. Thanks everybody in the chat for commenting and all that. I see Bearded Jixer in the chat. Thanks for watching this stuff. And Righty said he watched your broadcast from North Carolina.
Nice. Thanks.
So that's pretty neat. But yeah, so great job, the mayor. You know, we didn't even talk about why we called you the mayor, but
Yeah, I know.
whatever. You know, it
Shaking
is what it
hands,
is.
kissing babies, it's all of it,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what? Everybody, please let us know what you think about this in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, mash all the buttons and all that. And I guess we'll catch you guys on the next episode of Talking Motorbikes.
Cheers, y'all.
Yeah. And